in human gene patenting. To introduce my topic, I will talk about patents. A patent is an intellectual property right granted by the government of the United States to an inventor to exclude others from making, using, offering for sale, or selling the invention for a limited time in exchange for public disclosure of the invention when the patent is granted. As stated by the United States Patent and Trademark Office and the United States Constitution, a patent is created to promote the progress of science and useful arts. It's also important to understand DNA and genes. In 1953, James Watson and Francis Crick discovered the structure of DNA, and from that point on, scientists worked to discover every question that remained about the human DNA. In 1980, the first gene patent was issued, after a court case. The first patent of a human gene was granted in 1991, and in the year 2008, there were 3,000 to 5,000 US patents on human genes and 47,000 of inventions involving genetic material.
General Electric and Professor Jacobardi went to the patent office with a little microbe that eats up oil spills. They said they had modified this microbe in the laboratory and therefore it was an invention. The patent office, the U.S. government, took a look at this, quote, invention, and they said, no way. The patent statutes don't cover living things. This is not an invention. Turned down. Then General Electric and Dr. Jacobardi appealed to the U.S. Customs Court of Appeal. And to everyone's surprise, by a 3-2 decision, they overrode the patent office. We bring good things to life. And they said, this microbe looks more like a detergent or a reagent than a horse or a honeybee. I laughed because they didn't understand basic biology. It looked like a chemical to them. Had it had an antenna or eyes or wings or legs, it would never have crossed their table and been patented. Then the patent office appealed. And what the public should realize now is the patent office was very clear that you can't patent life. My organization provided the main amicus curiae brief. If you allow the patent on this microbe, we argued, it means that without any congressional guidance or public discussion, corporations will own the blueprints of life. When they made the decision, we lost by 5-4, and Chief Justice Warren Burger said, sure, some of these are big issues, but we think this is a small decision. 7 years later, the U.S. Patent Office issued a one-sentence decree. You can patent anything in the world that's alive except a full-birth human being.
What is really important is the effect that gene patenting has on the healthcare system. When companies receive a patent on a human gene, they receive the right to be the only company performing medical tests or providing a treatment. A patent of a human gene will give the owning company the ability to manage prices and to regulate on the performing of medical exams. Myriad Genetics, as the company states, is focused on the development and marketing of novel molecular diagnostic products. The company does work on the development of new treatments for diseases, but the issue is how the company makes use of their patents. Myriad was the only laboratory in the country able to perform tests for ovarian and breast cancer because they own the patent. Owning the patent does two things. It raises the cost of healthcare and makes the option of a second opinion impossible. Even when a district court ruled Myriad's patent on the BRCA1 and BRCA2 genes, which are genes for breast and ovarian cancer, as invalid, not all patents on human genes had been invalidated or stopped from being issued by the federal government, so that other laboratories and other patents Myriad possess can keep being used with the purpose of managing healthcare and developing a monopoly out of the healthcare industry. Another issue with human gene patents is that a gene patent can be granted for a basic DNA sequence, and this will drastically decrease the genes that can be researched, because they may contain such sequence, even when it is only a small percentage. The problem is that making genes in the laboratory is essential for many kinds of research, and restrictions on the use of patented genes will be difficult to work around, lowering the chances that new discoveries will be made on diseases and treatments. We heard about the disadvantages of human gene patenting, but a patent is a necessity for the progress of new treatment and research. Scientists and researchers require resources and time in extensive amounts, and that requires capital. So scientists have the opportunity to accept and request investment to finance their research. Because in a sense, patents are granted not as a reward, but in order to encourage investment. Like any other investment, it is necessary that the investor have assurance that they will revenue from their investment. A patent provides a security to the investor that when a discovery is made, they will be able to profit from the discovery because they took a risk and funded the research. Without this security, the number of investors will decrease dramatically. Most, if not all, researchers are financed by investment, and without the support of the investors, much important research may never occur. The question is, what is more important? To ensure that the investment is protected or that everybody is able to pay for their healthcare. A lot needs to be done to solve the issue of human gene patenting, but until it's solved, patents have proved to be necessary for the function of the system.